Once upon a very magical time, one special scarecrow in each country around the world was brought to life by a very magical power. The magical scarecrows all around the world were brought to life to help look after Mother Nature and all the wonderful animals who share our beautiful planet. Each magical scarecrow wore a hat typical of their nation, and each one had a name. For example, in England, the magical scarecrow there was called Race C. Rose, and he wore a top hat. In Africa, the magical scarecrow there was called Limpopo, and he wore a safari hat. In Israel, the magical scarecrow was called Jaffa. He wore a kippah, and he liked to sing, "If I were a real man." All the magical scarecrows had special friends among the animals who shared their land. In Israel, Jaffa's special friend was Moshe the mule. One evening, just before Chanukah, Moshe was stomping his hoof in the dirt when Jaffa noticed he'd unearthed a four-sided spinning top. "What's this?" Jaffa wanted to know, picking it up. Moshe studied the top for a moment. "I don't know," he whinnied, "but I bet a rabbi will be able to tell you." "A rabbi," Jaffa repeated, rubbing his chin thoughtfully. "That's a good idea." Normally, grown-ups weren't allowed to know about the magical scarecrow's special magical secret about being alive. But as rabbis all knew about the importance of caring for all life on earth, like the magical scarecrows, all rabbis were allowed to know the secret. Jaffa went to see Rabbi Cohen first. "Good evening, Rabbi," Jaffa said politely. "Ah, Jaffa, shalom, what can I do for you this evening?" "I found this today." Jaffa showed Rabbi Cohen the four-sided top. "Do you know what it is?" Rabbi Cohen took the object and smiled. "It's a dreidel." "A dreidel?" Jaffa gasped. "What's that?" "Ah," said Rabbi Cohen knowingly, "it's a game. But there's an important history to this little spinning top. Let me explain." Rabbi Cohen showed Jaffa each of the four sides in turn. "Look, there are 4 Hebrew letters on the 4 sides of the dreidel. Nun, Gimel, Hey, and Sin. They represent the 4 kingdoms who tried to destroy us in ancient times. Nun is for Nebuchadnezzar, ruler of Babylon. Gimel is for Gog of Greece. Hey is for Haman, the governor of Persia, and Sin for Seir, which is Rome." "Why would we play with something that reminded us of such terrible times?" Jaffa wanted to know. "Ah, well, in times when we were forbidden to read our Torah, the dreidel gave us hope that these sad times of oppression would pass, and the future would be a brighter tomorrow." "Look," said Rabbi Cohen sympathetically, "to tell you the truth, there are many insights about the origin of the dreidel. Perhaps if you speak to some of the other rabbis, you'll hear a different theory, and then you can decide which you think fits best." "Thank you, Rabbi," Jaffa said respectfully. "I shall do that." Gently, Jaffa took the dreidel back from Rabbi Cohen and headed off to find Rabbi Levi. Rabbi Levi was just finishing his evening prayers when Jaffa found him. "Shalom, Rabbi." "Shalom, Jaffa! I see you found a dreidel." "Yes," said Jaffa, "but I want to know how the dreidel came into being. Rabbi Cohen told me one story, but he said you have another explanation." Rabbi Levi smiled. "There are many reasons behind the origin of the dreidel. I shall give you but one. You see the 4 letters on the dreidel?" "Yes, Nun, Gimel, Hey, and Shin." "Very good, Jaffa. Well, I bet you didn't know that each letter has a number equivalent, and these particular letters and numbers add up to 358, which is also the number for the Messiah." "The Messiah?" Jaffa gasped. "That's right," Rabbi Levi smiled. "But as Rabbi Cohen has already told you, that is but one reason as to the origin of the dreidel. If you seek another rabbi, you shall find Yet another answer. Feeling more and more confused, Jaffa decided to seek out a third rabbi, Rabbi Yisrael. By the time Jaffa reached him, word had already spread, and Rabbi Yisrael knew the magical scarecrow was coming. So, Jaffa, you want to know the history of the dreidel? Well, you've come to the right place. Jaffa listened as Rabbi Yisrael explained that the letters Nun, Gimel, Hey, and Shin in fact stand for Nes Gadol Haya Sham in the Hebrew language used by the Jews. Nes Gadol Haya Sham, when translated to English, means a great miracle happened there. That's why we play with the dreidel on Chanukah, Jaffa. Jaffa studied the kind and wise rabbi. Is Chanukah a time of miracles? That is exactly what it is, Rabbi Yisrael answered softly, and I'll tell you why. Jaffa paid close attention, amazed, as Rabbi Yisrael told the magical scarecrow the story of Chanukah, and how oil that should have only lit the holy flame for one night lasted for 8 nights. Jaffa was very confused. He hurried back to Moshe, wanting to know which of these 3 explanations could be true. Perhaps they're all true, Moshe suggested. Did you think of that? Jaffa admitted that this hadn't occurred to him, but as the first night of Chanukah was the next night, he decided to go to shul to learn more. At the Great Synagogue in Jerusalem, all the rabbis that Jaffa had spoken to had gathered with the community to celebrate the first night of Chanukah. Happy children were eating Chanukah donuts, receiving Chanukah gelt from their parents, and everywhere people were playing with dreidels. As the rabbis lit the first candle in the menorah for the first night of Chanukah, Jaffa stood back and smiled as Moshe joined his side. "You'd know," Jaffa said to Moshe. "I think I know the answer now." "Oh," said Moshe, "what's that?" "The dreidel, Chanukah, all these beautiful traditions." Moshe looked up at Jaffa. "It's all about reminding us who we are, where we came from, and what's important. Family, tradition, life, love, and caring for one another, just as we magical scarecrows do. That's the lesson. And the great power that brought me to life has led me on this journey to lead me to this moment where I can learn that lesson." Jaffa gave Moshe a big hug, just as Rabbi Yisrael came up to them with a big bowl of Chanukah donuts for them both to share.